While military and civilian life are so different, the skills you learn while enlisted are transferable.
So see how this retired Navy vet transferred her military skills to her now owning a coffee shop. Here's her story.
There's something about a coffee shop that pulls you in. It might be the tasty drinks or the cozy couches. Here at Sweet Beans, it's the smiles you'll see behind the counter.
I'm so sorry, we're just talking. Yeah.
This coffee shop is Mallory Ruggs' passion project. Nearly 10 years ago, Mallory started working as a barista when her husband first enlisted in the Army. She loved it.
I said, I just figured out what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I know I don't want to work for anyone else doing it.
But first, she felt called to serve and joined the Navy in 2012.
I was a fire controlman, I was a spy technician.
That's when she met her friend, Heather Amadeo.
Her husband and I had the same job. And
their families became close.
We would sit on the front porch and I would tell her about my dreams and I was gonna make it happen. And she goes, yeah, that sounds amazing. Like, I'd love to do that. I go, yeah, you should do it with me. And then they got stationed in Hawaii.
But as luck would have it, both families wound up in Norfolk in 2017.
She's like, all right, I'm gonna ask you a really important question. I was like, okay, what is it? She goes, are you serious about the coffee shop? I was like, yeah, I am. And then we hit the ground running.
Mallory finished her enlistment, but still works on base as an instructor. The two women got to work.
It was so much harder than I anticipated. I wasn't prepared for how every single bank would want something different in the business plan.
It would be endless nights of just working on the business plan, working on what we needed to sell, how we were gonna sell it, and it was just hair pulling sometimes.
But finally, they got a loan and they found this spot not far from NASA Langley. They opened in May and already have loyal customers, some who are surprised to hear their story.
When they come here and they're surprised by two factors all at once. They're one, they say, are you the owner? And we say, yes. They're like, oh. And then they find out that I was in the military and they're like, really? Both of those things? So it's really funny to have that conversation. And once they find out about those, then it starts this really great conversation.
As a female and veteran-owned business, Sweet Beans is somewhat of an anomaly.
There's still kind of that idea that a woman veteran is different, you know, and with her and with Heather, there aren't very many pair of women that are stronger than those two.
But they believe that stereotype is changing.
In a normal division, you have a couple women to 20, 30 men. So, I mean, I understand why there is a stereotype. However, I look forward to being able to break that stereotype.
Mallory and Heather are determined to help other women, giving them advice on how to start their own businesses.
If you are so passionate about something and you feel like you have something that you can sell, then exhaust all outlets.
Paying it forward.
It's a very empowering feeling knowing that we were able to help somebody else make their dream come true.
Using their training, their story, and their voices to inspire female veterans and beyond. For Veterans Voices, I'm Maria Elena Baloris.
What a nice story of veteran success. And we have one more.
Yes, I stopped in with Dr. Logan Curtis right here in Watertown, who's working on a program called Smile for Soldiers. Check it out. Dr. Curtis, can you give us a little background about Smiles for Soldiers and kind of run through the entire process that you guys have been going through?
Yeah, absolutely. So Smiles for Soldiers started earlier this year. The idea was to find a veteran in our community who was in need of a full arch replacement, which means removal of any teeth, either in the upper or lower jaw that were bad or infected, and then replacement of those teeth with 4 implants and a full bridge. So this is the type of procedure that you typically see teeth in a day. It's also known as all on 4. And the idea was to help restore one of the smiles for our veterans in the area.
And this isn't just a local project, it's got a nationwide kind of outreach. Can you explain a little bit about that and working with other professionals in your field here?
This is a nationwide type of reach. Smiles for Soldiers has gone on in several other states, Oklahoma, Iowa. With my military background, this is a project that particularly attracted me. I wanted to make sure we brought it here to our community where, you know, 10th Mountain and the tradition there is so important. And I talked to some of the dentists here in the local area, so I have several partners. The Watertown Dental Health Group, Peter Verga and Joe Girardi, and they're going to be the restorative dentists on this, so a lot of the work is also going to come from their group. We also have Nobel Biocare, who's providing the implants and helping with that.
So this has turned from a national project into a almost hyper-localized project with the groupings with the other local dentists. Why is it so important for you to have the hyper-local reach here in Northern New York?
Well, you know, part of that is we wanted to really target someone right here from our community. We have right here a tremendous tradition with the 10th Mountain. The most deployed group since 9/11 in the entire country. More people have left from this area. So the recent military activities, I'd say the last 10 or 20 years, have really heavily been contributed to by folks right here. So we wanted to kind of honor that tradition. We wanted to keep it as local as possible and find somebody within our own community to really make a difference.
Can you talk about the procedure from beginning to end? Is it a day-in procedure? What is the recipient of this kind of going to be looking for the next 3 to 6 months post-procedure?
Initially, some of the things that we do is we take a 3D x-ray. We examine the patient's teeth, bones, sinuses, nerves, and then I perform surgery basically on the computer. I make sure that everything's going to work. We do a lot of pre-planning with the lab, and then once all that's put together, we bring the patient in. So the day of surgery is going to look very much like the patient comes into the chair, goes to sleep for the procedure. For them, it's probably going to pass very quickly, but it'll be about an hour to 2 hour procedure total, depending on the number of teeth that need to be removed and the bone grafting that needs to be done. And then the 4 to 6 implants will be placed. That same day, because of the communication with the lab, I'll have a set of teeth ready to deliver to the patient. So within 3 or 4 hours, not only are the teeth out, but the new teeth have been placed. And the patient has his bite adjusted by either Dr. Verger or Dr. Girardi, and we're off to the races. So they function with that initial set of teeth for roughly 3 to 6 months, and then we can replace that with a more permanent, what's called a hybrid restoration. And that's something that looks very nice and is also very functional, but will last a lot longer. Smiles for Soldiers really, within the last 4 to 5 years, has started some other places in the country, but this has to do with kind of the emergence of a full arch restoration. This is fairly new technology because we've been working on implants for 30 years, and now we've gained the ability with working on these implants to also not only remove the teeth, place the implants at the same time, but to build a bridge that will fit on it the same day. So this is something that's fairly new because you know, the technology wasn't always there, and now it is, to be able to do this immediately. As far as the applications went, word was spread on Facebook, on social media, as well as, you know, over the news and in the newspaper and stuff. So I think on Facebook we had something like 7,000 or 8,000 shares and likes and those kind of things. So it really spread through the community very well. We had calls coming in every day about the program. The number of applications was well over 50. I don't know how many it turned out to be. And then it was really a process of trying to figure out who would benefit most. And then, you know, trying to find out some of their history as far as their military history, some of the things they've done. We've got some compelling people that have done a lot of good for our country and that really need a little hand up. And so we finally whittled it down to the last 5 people. So I'm going to meet and talk with them, get a feel for who they are and their family situation, how much this would benefit, what it means to them, and do my best to select the person that I think would really benefit the most from it. And then we're going to let them know that coming up on Veterans Day week, we're going to be bringing them in, the final contestants, and just letting them know, you know, who's going forward. From there, we're going to get them ready probably the first of the year to get the procedure done.
So quick turnaround, quick process.
Yeah, quick turnaround, quick process, and great way to start a new year with a new set of teeth.
After talking with Dr. Curtis, we caught up with some of the local veterans who applied for the Smile for Soldiers program.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, you know. Sometimes veterans, they don't have a whole lot of money, and they don't have money to spend on their mouth, obviously, you know.
Started with Watertown VA, and they had put a referral to Syracuse VA, who put in another referral for me to choose a provider locally to get the process rebooted because it was unfinished on the way out, and suggested a Happy Smiles dental office, which is local here, and I went and saw them, and one of their office people, Lisa Lindacker, she was really good, and she heard my story and looked at everything and has been my advocate ever since. So.
Thank you to all the veterans in our stories this evening.
And to all veterans in our local community. I'm Josh Bond.
And I'm Alex Hazard. Good night.
Veterans Voices is proudly brought to you by Boots Brewing, Chapone's Tire Warehouse, Hefferon Real Estate, Kogut Contracting, Lori Javera Real Estate, Griff's Beverage Center,